Well, hello there. It's me again, Nikki. I am wearing the same thing as I wore in my last video, in case you're wondering. And I have some amazing accompaniment today by my husband, Paul Hill. If you hear drumming in the background, it's because of the drumming in the background. I didn't want to ask him to stop because I kind of like it. It's kind of fun. Anyway, so I thought I'd make another video in addition to, not in response to yesterday's video, because I thought I would just keep sharing some health stuff. You're welcome. This is going to be long and it is unscripted. And if that's not your jam, you can turn me off. So I wanted to talk to you today about a diagnosis I got in April of last year, April 2021, called interstitial cystitis. Interstitial cystitis, which I had never heard of. So if you've never heard of it, no worries. So I'm just going to read to you. This is what it is. Interstitial cystitis is a chronic condition causing bladder pressure, bladder pain, and sometimes pelvic pain. Fun. The pain ranges from mild discomfort to severe. The condition is a part of a spectrum of diseases known as painful bladder syndrome. If you want to know more, try the Google machine. But that's the gist of it, right? I have a chronic condition called interstitial cystitis. It's typically referred to just as IC or PBS, public broadcasting syndrome. Just kidding, not public broadcasting. Painful bladder. So I was going to tell you a little bit about this process and what it was like to get diagnosed and what it's like now. I started noticing symptoms. I say noticing because maybe I had the symptoms prior and I was just ignoring them. I started noticing symptoms in May of 2020, and I thought that it was a UTI because I've had a couple of those in the past. It felt similar, so this was kind of at the beginning of COVID, so you couldn't just go to the doctor. I sent my general practitioner an email. I said, "Hey, I think I have a UTI." And he said, "Great, I'm just gonna give you a prescription." So I took that medicine for about a month and didn't really notice a change. It wasn't super painful, but I was very uncomfortable. And I just kind of didn't feel like dealing with it. I figured it's a UTI, it'll go away. Well, it wasn't a UTI, but I didn't know that yet. I kind of want to make this a shorter story, so I'm just going to the timeline of this next little bit is August through December. Doctor didn't know what it was just by me, emailing my symptoms. So I had multiple different appointments, and multiple different tests, including, I went back to an OBGYN and I got my, I did another PAP. Everything came back fine. So those tests came back okay. In the meantime, my pain got really, really, really bad. And I'm going to actually stand up and show you where I felt the pain. I'm using a mic today. My pain was right here. And sometimes here. So in my brain, that's the ovary area. Ovary area. That would be a really good tongue twister. I have had ovarian cysts before, so I just thought, oh, that's what's going on. So I asked for an ultrasound. It came back fine. I did ovary and vaginal ultrasound. Everything came back fine, but that's what it felt like to me. It felt like those cysts were about to pop. I really thought that was that. I also thought it could be endometriosis. My mother had that. It caused her major, major pain. I sort of thought, well, I'm just following in her footsteps. And That's what it is. It wasn't that. So we ruled out all of that stuff. Then we started thinking about my digestive tract. We ruled out all of that I had a colonoscopy. And I want to just pause here for a second and just say that the doctors were fine, but this colonoscopist, is that a thing? I don't even know. This guy was hands down the best doctor I've ever had, because he did my colonoscopy. It came back clean. Yay. But he then referred me to someone else. And he's the only one in this process that I'm talking to you about right now, with the exception of someone else in the future, that said, I do not know what this is. Let me help you figure it out. During my colonoscopy stuff, I found out that I have something, this is a real thing, but I didn't think so. I have something called nutcracker syndrome. Now, friends, I found this out right around Thanksgiving, and so I really thought that he was telling me some type of like seasonal, not very funny joke. Turns out nutcracker syndrome is a real thing. So then I had a virtual appointment with a kidney specialist. Nutcracker syndrome, if I'm remembering correctly, is when the veins around your kidney are compressed. So like if this is my kidney vein, there's a real name for that. I don't know what it is. The area around it, the other veins around it are like this, and they're squeezing it, and that's why they call it nutcracker syndrome. So I found out in all this process that I have something called nutcracker syndrome. However, I was probably born with it or got it when I was really, really little, and this specialist said, nope, it's not that. Great. In the meantime, I have a CT scan and an MRI. The MRI is inconclusive. The CT scan, I don't remember what it was, but that was inconclusive too. And basically, all of these tests turn up negative, which is great, right? Yay, thank you. I'm so glad that I'm healthy. And also, I am in a severe amount of pain at this point. At this point, it is November, December. And it is the pain that I have in my lower abdomen, specifically on my left side, can be so great that I could be talking to you like this and everything would be great, and all of a sudden I would be bending over in major pain. It felt like, at its very least, it felt like there was pressure or a pinching feeling, and it was constant. And at its very worst, I honestly felt like someone took a knife and was just stabbing it in my lower abdomen. It was horrible. It was horrible. And I go to all these places and they all are saying, we don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. We don't know what it is. So on December 23rd, I only remember that date because it was right before Christmas. I go back to my GP. Finally, I'm in person with him. We've been communicating virtually or by email. And he eventually says, Nicole, because that's what they all call me, is Nicole, because that's my name. Everything is clear. You are healthy. I did a bunch of blood tests, everything. You are healthy. And I say to him, great. I am still in a major amount of pain. At this point, there are days where I do not get out of bed because laying down feels okay, but everything else doesn't. Like sitting like this would not feel okay back then. I thought maybe there's just something wrong with my posture. Like literally, y'all, I was like, just tell me what it is. I'll do anything. And he said that there's nothing. And that was it. Like there's nothing, full stop, period. And he would have been fine if I had left the office at that point, which I almost did. But first I said, I hear what you're saying, and I am also in severe pain that there are some days where I can barely function. And he says, well, you do have a history of anxiety. And I I kind of wanted to roll my eyes at that, but I was just like, eh. I said, yes, I do. I do have a history with anxiety. Are you saying that this might just be my anxiety? And he said, it could be. And I said, okay, let's say that that's what it is. What do I do? And he said, well, I would suggest seeing a therapist. And I said, can you hear that? There's music in the background. I'm not just bopping to nothing, but it's like a nice little soundtrack. I said, I see a therapist and I am on prescription medications for therapy and anxiety, or for my anxiety and depression. You can look right here, my charts are. And he said, oh. And I said, okay, let's say that all of this, I'm experiencing real pain, but let's just say that it is all stress related. And I remember saying, let's say that these are all psychosomatic symptoms. Thank you, Adelaide from Guys and Dolls. But I remember specifically saying that because I thought it would be kind of fun. I said, what do I do? And he said nothing. And I said, can you refer me to a person, a therapist who deals with psychosomatic illnesses? Can you refer me to someone else who can help me with why my brain is causing pain in my body? And he said, I don't know of anyone. And that is when I was done. I was just like, screw you, dude. Really? You don't know anyone? And also, like, I get if you don't know anyone, but you don't got a guy that you can call? Oh, that was horrible grammar. And I was like, okay, fine, thank you. And I left, and it was Christmas. And I was like, I need to be done with this for a while, because after all that constant testing, for which I'm grateful for, I'm so glad that I had and I do have health insurance that I can get tested. But after all of that and after all the pain, I was just like, I can't with this right now. And so I just stopped, and I didn't do anything for about 6 weeks. And I stayed in this constant pain. And I knew that, like, it wasn't right, but I also did not have the energy to continue on for a while. Then at some point, I'm like, maybe this is a dietary thing. And nowhere throughout any of these doctor's appointments did anyone ask me what my diet was, did any, what my habits or anything like that were. So I decide I'm going to do the Whole30 again. And if you're unfamiliar with the Whole30, I'm just going to nutshell it. It is an elimination diet. It is not created for you to consistently do for your life. It's a 30-day elimination diet, and then you introduce some foods back into your system to see if you have some sensitivities. And Paul and I had already done it a couple of times just to see if we could. So I was like, I'm going to do this again, but now I have this new thing that I'm looking for. Is this going to decrease this pain? And I decide to post about it on Instagram. I was just like, I'm doing the Whole30 again, and I put a little bit of my symptoms in this post, and I said I have this severe pelvic pain, and it's not things that you think it should be. It's not the things that you automatically would think that it would be. And I don't know what it is, but I'm in a lot of pain, and I got to try this again. And I got a private message from a friend who said, hey, this sounds like this thing called interstitial cystitis. And I was like, I have no idea what that is. Thank you. I have no idea what that is. And so I just Googled it, and I was like, holy crap, this sounds like me. This pain and oh my gosh, yay. So I immediately start researching interstitial cystitis, and I still don't fully understand what it is caused by. I'm not sure what has happened that I have interstitial cystitis. What I do know is that flare-ups are caused by diet and stress. Okay, great. So I find an app that's called like the IC Diet app, and I immediately start following it. And essentially, I'm not supposed to have acidic food. Now, I will tell you the truth. I had a major temper tantrum about that. I really did. I was like, I can't eat these foods anymore. And you know what? I just let myself have that temper tantrum. Are there bigger things in the world than Nickie not getting her oranges and tomatoes? Of course. And having to eliminate certain things from my diet was a pain in the butt, right? So I started following this diet. So it's essentially nothing with acid in it. No tomatoes, no citrus, so no oranges, limes, lemons, onions, coffee. So I tried to kick coffee, and then I found out that some people are okay with cold brew. It turns out I am one of those people that can have cold brew. Thank you, husband, for making me cold brew every morning so I can still have my caffeine fix, because I am addicted. So I started eliminating these things, and lo and behold, I started feeling better within like 2 days. And since that time, I have been following this diet pretty closely. I have discovered through trial and error that I can have small amounts of certain things. Like if I order a taco and there's like a little dollop of pico de gallo on there, I'm okay with that. But I can't have like 2 cherry tomatoes, because that's no bueno. I can tolerate cooked onions, just not raw. So it's really been trial and error. And I forgot to tell you that I went to a gynecologist and I said, hey, I think I have IC. She's like, yeah, it sounds like it. So she sent me to the urologist, and that's the person that diagnosed me. So I officially got a diagnosis in April of 2021. And I have been pretty okay ever since. I can go through the day without even thinking about it. Every once in a while, I'll get a little pinch there. And I've been great until the beginning of this year, 2022. There were about 5 days where I was in a major flare. It wouldn't stop. It was consistent. And it was back to that stabbing pain. It wasn't just uncomfortable. It was like, oh my God. And it eventually went away. So I still don't fully understand it. Perhaps it's something that I won't ever understand. Perhaps it has something to do with my fatigue and my low energy, although that started in like 1986. And my IC stuff started in May 2020. It is possible that these things are all related. Interstitial cystitis has varying degrees of tolerance. Is that the right thing to say? I'm not sure. It seems as though my case is pretty mild, so I'm really grateful for that, because there are plenty of people that have to have surgeries. Some people in extreme cases have to get their bladders taken out. I just didn't. I never thought it was my bladder, because our bladder is supposed to be located. I mean, all of our bodies are different, right? But it's supposed to be located like in the center of your pelvis. And even when I had an ultrasound on my bladder, that's where they put the ultrasound wand. And the lady was like, what is happening here? And then she moved it over to the left, and she goes, oh, okay. So my bladder is over to the left, which explains why I've had so much pain. Anyway, I just wanted to share more of that journey in case it's helpful to you and get it out of me. It's not something that I'm not telling people about it. It's just, well, now I'm telling everyone. But I was really lucky, and my symptoms went away almost immediately after I started feeling better. And so I just didn't think to tell people about it. But maybe there's someone going through what I was going through a couple of years ago, and this is going to be helpful to them. So the drummer has stopped. I've been talking for literally 20 minutes. I doubt anyone is still watching, but if you are, thank you. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you some other time with maybe some updates. Bye.